4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pinche Gringo show. We have an amazing show for you tonight. We have the guy who made the Mexico is the shit jacket famous, Carlos Lang, is with us. You must stay tuned for this. We also have 3 soccer fans with us tonight, each representing one of the 3 soccer teams that call Mexico City home. And they will make their case to why I should be a fan of that team. And yes, a little politics too. Now, I'm sorry if I'm boring you with politics, because one viewer wrote to me last week and said, pero a veces el tema es muy denso y se pierde interés. Cuando son muy políticos, eso en México no gusta. I understand, and I get it, but sometimes the intricacies are boring, but it's important to be informed right now because it's life or death here in the world with this election that's coming up. So it's going to be fun. Stay with us. But first, in continuing sign that the apocalypse is near, on Sunday, Death Valley, California, usually the hottest place on earth, registered the highest temperature recorded since 1913 with a high of 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And for anyone who doesn't know, this antiquated system of temperature measurement, only used by the United States, Belize, Liberia, and a smattering of Caribbean and Pacific islands, it's fucking hot. Actually, 54.4 degrees Celsius to be exact. Supposedly, the hottest temperature recorded of all time was 134 degrees that was taken in 1913, but scientists have questions its validity. I mean, imagine how that verification went. Someone wrote a letter, to whom it may concern, we have recorded a record temperature of 130 degrees. Like 2 weeks later, the guy comes on a horse and he's like, do you have any proof of this record? A photograph? And the other guy's like, what's a photograph? My friend Wilbur here saw it as well. So we don't know if that's true, but maybe it is. But here in Mexico City, COVID is still paralyzing the country, affecting the economy, people's sanity, especially in the restaurant and tourism industry. But there is good news. More people have been wearing their masks in public, and it seems like people are taking things a lot more seriously. Lavadora, colchones, pruebas de COVID, y plasma si quieres vender. As a result, the country is starting to see a slow decrease in the amount of confirmed cases for 3 consecutive weeks. Amigo, smell this sope. Can you smell it? See? Okay, you don't have COVID. In addition, the number of beds and ventilators available is increasing, which has been a concern since the start of the virus. Critics say that it's just a slowing of testing and that with the number dead, the virus is still terrorizing communities. It's also possible that the government is just increasing the amount of beds. So this statistic may not dictate how bad COVID has become. With the amount of distrust for the public institutions and the people sharing the information, it makes sense that we have these types of streetlights on the roads in the country. Is it red, yellow, green? Really confused about this. But classes started this week as Mexico moved to school on television, and the UNAM, Mexico's national university, with more than 300,000 enrolled students, found a very unique way for prospective students to take the notoriously very difficult entrance exam. They used the National University's stadium as a test center, requiring test takers to take the exam on the cement stands. Said what participant, a bird pooped on my paper, what do I do now? One student in the upper level of the stadium, in keeping with school tradition at the UNAM, after realizing he was going to fail the exam, gave a golden shower by peeing on the students below. Woo, said the guy who came with the paper hat. For any foreigners watching this show and don't understand what I just said, it's okay. This is one thing that's better not to know. But all the talk these last few days in the US has been about the Democratic National Convention. But first, for those of you who do not know, U.S. national political conventions are gatherings every 4 years of the political parties to nominate the candidates for president and vice president, boost their campaigns, and gain enthusiasm for the general election. Like in Mexico, the convention is really just a coronation because there hasn't been a contest since 1952. They are normally large gatherings in basketball arenas with a lot of fanfare and people who collect pins and wear funny hats. But because of COVID, the conventions have to be completely changed this year to online formats. This week, the Democrats take their turn, and next week, the Death Star, led by President Darth Vader, will make the case to the American people. Wait, I'm sorry, wait. Darth Vader, no, I meant the Republicans, led by President Donald Trump. And it's been a well-received format, Biden's nomination. Instead of being done on the arena floor, traveled to 57 states and territories, including Democrats abroad, which represents Democrats living in Mexico, in places like Florida, where I'm not sure if it was the big guy or a big chair, really confusing, or a Robert Redford lookalike from Kansas. Or how about a lady with a cool tiger mask from Nebraska? Cool mask, huh? Or a dude with a kick-ass guayabera from Puerto Rico. And the biggest buzz, Rhode Island promoting its calamari. Didn't even know Rhode Island had calamari. But it's been entertaining, especially if you really dislike Donald Trump. See, politics can be fun. So don't fall asleep. I'm going to explain to you very quickly of what happened at the convention this week. It's interesting. Starting on Monday night, former First Lady Michelle Obama spoke, and she said this.
Over the past 4 years, a lot of people have asked me, when others are going so low, does going high still really work? My answer, going high is the only thing that works.
Okay, now listen, I get stuck sometimes with verbs and small words in Espanol, so I can understand that she did not say get high, she said go high. I'm just clarifying that, okay? But then on Tuesday, Bill Clinton came on, you know, that president that kicked ass in the 90s, and then people were like, wait, this guy banged a lot of chicks while he was president, and like, yikes, it's 2020, that can't happen. And then the organizers were like, give him 5 minutes, he's the president. And then he said this.
At a time like this, the Oval Office should be a command center. Instead, it's a storm center. There's only chaos. Just one thing never changes: his determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame. The buck never stops there.
Okay, again, for our English as a second language learners, he didn't say the fuck doesn't stop there. That's what we thought he said. He said the buck doesn't stop there. I'm just making sure I'm clarifying for you, okay? Then last night, the Democratic triple nunchuck karate chop came out with Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris all taking their turn to address the country. Hillary said this.
And don't forget, Joe and Kamala can win by 3 million votes and still lose. Take it from me.
Bang, boom, Hillary, you got him. But then Barack Obama came on, and he was like your angry parent who just stares at you right in your eye until you get scared and run out of the room. He said this.
I did hope, for the sake of our country, that Donald Trump might show some interest in taking the job seriously. That he might come to feel the weight of the office and discover some reverence for the democracy that had been placed in his care. But he never did. For close to 4 years now, he has shown no interest in putting in the work. No interest in finding common ground, no interest in using the awesome power of his office to help anyone but himself and his friends. No interest in treating the presidency as anything but one more reality show that he can use to get the attention he craves.
No mames. He opened up a can of whoop ass. Mr. Calm Obama took it out on Trump, and Trump, sitting in his crib, went right onto Twitter and in all caps, like your grandma who just learned how to use the computer, doesn't know how to do it, and was like, wah! Why did he refuse to endorse Flo Joe until it was over? Wah! Then Kamala Harris took her turn, and she said, and I quote this time, this.
There is no vaccine for racism. We've got to do the work.
That's right. There was no vaccine for racism, but then moments later, Russia announced that they actually discovered a vaccine for racism, and they called it Sputnik 6. And right now, as we are live on this show, at this moment, Vice President Joe Biden is about to make his acceptance speech for the Democratic nomination to challenge Donald Trump for the presidency. It's getting vicious, and I will tell you, stay tuned here at the Pinche Gringo show, because even if you don't like politics, This election is going to be a telenovela, like Soñadoras. And the consequences of this election on climate change, world peace, world alliances, job, the economy, like your life depending on it, no one should take our attention off of it. And that's why at the Pinche Gringo Show, we are going to continue to bring you this news in a smaller digest so we can all be updated on what's happening in the next 75 days. Donald Trump's 2016 campaign was not nice to Mexico, saying things like, and I'm going to do a Donald Trump impression, excuse me, I'm not the best at it, but they are not our friend, believe me. And saying about Mexican immigrants, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. And of course, we know that Trump is trying to build a border wall and getting Mexicans to pay for it. And the worst offense he could ever do against our fine and beautiful, lindo, querido Mexico is to celebrate Cinco de Mayo by eating a taco bowl. So in 2017, a Mexican influencer by the name of Carlos Lang took a black jacket given to him by designer Anwar Layon with the words "Mexico is the shit" written on the back. He put it on, he took this photo right in front of Trump Tower. The Instagram post generated a ton of attention, but Carlos has continued to travel the world with great work and has been a strong advocate for Mexico. So Carlos, also known as Care Much, now joins me on the show. Carlos, thank you so much for joining me. I finally got you on, right? Telling me this happened.
How are you, Danny? I'm happy to be here, brother.
I'm doing good. It's so funny that because of COVID, we have to do this on remotely, but you live literally like 1 block from here, right? It's
literally, I think if I look out the window, I can see you. Watch, look on your shoulder.
There we go. Carlos, talk to me about something. So supposedly, like this guy, tell me the story about this jacket, because there's only like 5 or 6 jackets being made in Mexico. He gave you this jacket. You went to New York. How did all this come about?
Yes, so Anwar, he's got so many different projects, like branding projects, and he reached out since he liked my job. Dude, I need to come over more often to your show. Like, I feel my English is going bad. So he contacted me. He said, I just want you to see my work and see what you think. So he starts showing me, oh, I do this, I do that. And then he pulls out the Mexico is the shit jacket. And I was like, oh, wow, this is strong. As a context, I used to live in Los Angeles. I lived there for 3 years. And over that time, Trump and Hillary, they were having so many debates, and he was talking a lot of crap on Mexico. So I was like pretty butthurt about that. So that jacket was like a statement, especially for me. He had only made 4 for his friends. So I went on, I traveled the world with it. And until I came to New York City, I was like, I need to make a good photo about this. I need to make something special with this jacket. And so I'm walking on Fifth Avenue, and I see like a bunch of people. Like, this is the craziest thing about this story, man. Once you see it, you have to zoom in on it. And it's actually Donald Trump getting off a car, and he's getting into his office. So there's a lot of police, a lot of people like screaming, positive, negative. And so I just stood up in front of him and just remind the world that Mexico is a shit, you know?
Right. Was he bringing a taco bowl with him? Did he have a taco bowl in his hand when you were there?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. I was just too focused on the jacket.
Yeah, and he was president at the time, because this was 2017. Isn't that correct?
He was not president yet.
He's not president yet.
No,
okay.
He had just made the announcement that he was going to build the wall. So that's why it was very special for me. Dude,
so you put this on, right? You put this on Instagram, and what happened after that? Like, well, what was
before putting it up on Instagram? I remember walking on the streets of New York for a couple of days and getting like a lot of shit about that. Like, even I got kicked out of a bar because they told me, you know what, we don't want any trouble, so we're sorry. We cannot allow you in with that jacket. It's just, and I was like, oh crap, so this is getting really bad. And so I just put it up on internet. I went on to sleep. I woke up, and then it was all over the news, vlogs, and like a lot of people wanted like an interview. I remember seeing even like El Potrillo, like very famous people, like sharing my photo and my words and what I wrote in it. Because I think it's very important, not only the photograph, but what I felt, what I wrote. So it all became wild, and we started just getting a lot of people who who spread the message that Mexico is a shit. We started like a campaign. It just grew bigger and bigger.
Right. I think it's a really important message because a lot of Americans think that here in Mexico we have a sombrero in front of a donkey with a pancho, with a bottle of tequila in front of a cactus, and people freak out when they see my Facebook and there's snow in the mountains. Right?
Dude, I remember 2 cheerleaders who came up to me in Los Angeles and asked me if we had any buildings in Mexico City.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we can go off on this. I was in Cancun and I was telling someone I lived in Mexico City, and she said, well, why are you in the hotel? Why don't you just go home? Right? Like, thinking Mexico City was right next to Cancun. We can start all these things. So Carlos, with all of these things and all these things that people think, like, what has your role been after that about advocating for what the real truth of Mexico is? It is the shit, right?
It is the shit, but it's got a lot of shit. But it's the shit like every place. My father always says, Mexico is the best, and it can be the worst if you don't go to the proper places. But the thing is, like, I've tried to collaborate a lot with artists, underground artists or rising artists, and just share in the world, or maybe even like go to Portugal and just in a bar, just I'm Mexican and I'm positive. That's also telling the world that Mexico is a shit. And when people ask me, where are you from? And I'm like, from Mexico. And they're like, oh, I thought you were like bad. And I don't know, like part of the cartel, so even doing good stuff in the world, it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have about over 300,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm sure on other social media. So you have this incredible power to change the conversation and to promote that. So over the course of these 4 years, now where you are today, what do you think about today, like when you post on Instagram? Because I know there's a lot of people that post because they've got abs or they're great or they want to show their great lives, but you have a different meaning for your Instagram, which is really powerful.
True. I think it's all about sharing stories, man. Like it's not fun to see someone like holding the product and just smiling, or seeing just handsome people or beautiful girls dancing. I think it's always about sharing positive stories. So if I get, like, I was in Oaxaca last weekend, and so many things, I mean, you've been to Oaxaca.
Of course.
So many magical things happened, and I'm always carrying my camera, taking photos of people, and then I just try to put together a story and just share it in the world, and just try to remind the world that Mexico is amazing. Mexico is a shit.
Awesome, man. We need more people like you to share, especially with Americans, about what really Mexico represents and taking away all the stereotypes that the newspapers and other media. And I think it's so powerful now that, people say bad things about social media, but the authenticity of what you do can be shared and people can learn the truth instead of what's going to make, these big newspapers a lot of money. So Carlos, thank you so much. Continue doing what you're doing. Carlos Care Much. You can go on to Instagram, follow him. It's really beautiful. He's got 2 great dogs as well that we love seeing in our neighborhood. So thanks so much for joining the show, Carlos.
Thank you for having me over, brother. Have a good one.
See you soon. All right. Moving on, Mexico City, a metropolitan area that has almost a quarter of the country's population, also has been the home of a number of football teams. At one point, there were 5 teams, with Necaxa and Atlante calling the city home. But there are 3 teams playing in the Liga MX right now: the Pumas from the National University, Cruz Azul, who are founded by cement workers in the state of Hidalgo before moving to Mexico City in 1971, and Club America, the most successful and the most popular of the 3, winning a record 13 league titles. Let's go over Javier Negrete with a report from Chilangoland of who Mexico City residents feel is the best team.
Looking for soccer fans to ask them, which is the best team here in Mexico City? So let's find out, come with me.
Pues porque es el equipo más importante, más grande de México, el más ganador. Evidentemente ahí están los títulos, no hay por qué entrar en polémica. Entonces pues es lo más importante.
Porque es el más polémico y nunca te vas a aburrir, porque siempre van a haber noticias del equipo o de cosas relacionadas al equipo.
Guys, I can find any Cruz Azul fan like anywhere.
Not here, not here, not here, definitely not here.
I just can't.
mucho el orgullo universitario que tenemos aquí como estudiantes y siento que igual es uno de los equipos más decentes que hay en México.
Que aparte de sus colores, que es azul y oro, tiene muchos deportes aquí en lo que es las instalaciones de Ciudad Universitaria. Tiene fútbol americano, tiene equipos de básquetbol, softball, voleibol, voleibol de playa, gimnasios de box.
Porque está chido seguir a la chaviza.
Well, that's what the people said. What do you think? Which is the best option? I don't really know.
We have cricket and hockey. No, thanks, Javi. Really appreciate it. So let's get ready to rumble. Are you guys ready for this? I've invited one super fan from each team to make an argument for why I should support whatever team I should support. So I have three people. I have the Pumas fan, Fernando Gesto, right here. How you doing,
Hey,
Fernando?
Dan. How are you, dude?
I'm good. I have Cruz Azul fan, Kenneth Smith here in the house.
Hey,
and
how you doing, man?
I have Club America supporter Jose Manuel Mercado joining us on the show. So this is exciting. I have a lawyer, an economist, and a businessman. So this should be interesting. All right, gentlemen, here are the rules. You will have 1 minute to make your opening argument and 1 minute for your rebuttal, okay? So first we're going to go with Fernando. Fernando, I have to say I'm a little biased here because when I first came to Mexico, I thought the Pumas would make sense. I was an academic, I got my master's, so I figured Pumas was a team of intellectuals. I also spoke to the UNAM once, and I was presented with this jersey signed by all the members of the 2011 championship team. However, when I went to a game, it was nothing intellectual. I think it was the first and only time I got a golden shower, like it's yellow raining on me. And too hot on Sundays at the stadium. If you're as white as me, you turn into a red lobster during the game. So is this really the correct team to root for? You have 1 minute, Fernando.
Of course, dude. It's the best team you can support. Especially, well, you know that we represent the most noble and important institution of Mexico, the UNAM. And it's not about only academics and intellectuals. It's all about the supporters that are loyal to the team. And come on, when you go to the stadium, you always probably do some crazy stuff. And that's the passion of football. And Pumas make you feel so passionate about your team. Then also we have the best academy in Mexico. The minor leagues of Pumas, La Cantera, as we call it, is the best of all. We have players such as Manuel Negrete, Enrique Borja, and two of the best players of all times in Mexico. Hugo Sanchez, come on, man. Pentapichichi, you've heard about Hugo Sanchez, and he's well known in Madrid, in Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And Jorge Campos, come on, Jorge Campos. He changed the game. He changed completely the game with his shiny jerseys and everything.
All right, you got time. Thank you.
One of the best.
All right, let's go over to Kenneth. Kenneth, I know your team has had a lot of international success, and geographically, it made sense for me to root for them because the stadium was closest to Condesa, where you know all the gringos live, right? It's our home. But in the time I've been here, it seems like your team has choked a bit, right? Didn't at one point the owner like fire the whole team? How many times did it lose to America in the final? And didn't the team sell their stadium to build a mall? And now we're shacked up with that guy's team in Estadio Azteca. Come on, how can I root for this team?
All right, Dan. So I'm here to tell you why you have to be a Cruz Azul fan. Cruz Azul is the ultimate working class team. And I know you grew up being a New York Mets fan, so you know exactly what I mean. Cruz Azul was born in the small town of Jaso Hidalgo. It was for many decades the team of the construction workers, the cement workers at the Cruz Azul Cooperative. Didn't make it to professional sports until 1960. And by 1964, we were in the first division and proceeded to win the league championship 8 times. So we are the 4th winningest team. We've done it since 1964. You will hear people say, oh, Cruz Azul loses a lot of finals. But guess what? We get to more finals than anybody else. Imagine a team in the NFL getting to 16 Super Bowls. We've won 8. We've lost 8. We've had our ups and downs. But our team's fans are the most loyal fans there are. We are consistently the most safe stadium to go watch games. So no golden showers in our places. and we play offensive soccer. We play fun soccer, and I tell you, we're here to recruit you.
All right. Thanks, Kenneth. All right, this is fun. Jose Manuel, you're the last because your team has won the most Liga MX championships, right? You definitely have the most fans in the city. You have the biggest stadium, and it's your stadium that Cruz Azul is in. So naturally, if you want to be the best, you should root for America, right? But however, there should be a passionate resistance to your team in pop culture. There seems to be. So take a look at one of my favorite movies of all time.
6. Puto el que le vaya a América.
Right? It's a sexta regla de Chavo Lastra, Chinga America, right? So now those who watch the show often and they know that I'm a Mets fan because it is the second team in New York. I hate the Yankees, and America has many similarities to the Yankees. They're owned by Televisa, the biggest media conglomerate in the country. So don't you feel really dirty if you root for them?
Well, actually, no. And thank you for saving the best for the last. I'm really grateful. But as you know, as you heard in the video, America has the most fandom in Mexico. We have the biggest number of championships. We have 13. I mean, there's not even Cruz Azul Pumas can together get close to us. And we have more finals than any of these two other teams. I mean, what else can we get? We have an uninvited guest in our stadium. I mean, they would love to play like us, but probably they will never will. And if you want to talk about players, I mean, we have Cuauhtémoc Blanco, probably our next president, maybe. We have Celada, we have Sage, we have Ochoa. I mean, we have all the best championship players, stadiums. There's nothing more we can ask for.
All right, time. That's great. Cuauhtémoc Blanco, right? Doing a great job as Carlos Ken. All right, Fernando, you have 1 minute, up to 1 minute for a rebuttal. What do you say about these guys and they're saying about your team?
Okay, Dan, we are a winning team also. We have 7 championships. But the thing is that this is not about winning. This is about passion. Sports are about passion. And the passion that it's all around surrounding Pumas, it's amazing. And then you have gained the right to be a Puma fan because I know that you are a Puma fan. You, as a Columbia alumni, you know the feeling of rooting for your university colors. As a Mets fan, you know that not everything is winning and not everything is money. So come on, you know how it's to be a loyal supporter like Pumas supporter, and also because of your social commitment. We as representatives of the university, we have a social commitment. You help our paisanos, so you know how it feels to talk about Mexico and to help Mexicans. And the university, our university colleagues, we have a very special commitment with our country and our university, and the team represents that. So come on, Dan, keep rooting for us.
Hi. All right. Good job, Fernando. Kenneth, you got 1 minute left to make me feel that, because I will tell you, I've been thinking Cruz Azul the last couple of years because I just didn't want to get rained on, right? So tell me, why should I be Cruz Azul?
Look, Cruz Azul is a team of the people, and you can go to our stadium and experience passion without getting your face kicked in, like in the case of CU or when the America plays. Also, Fernando was talking about all these great players that stopped playing 20 years ago. You know, La Cantera, the farm team today, with the best players coming out today, is definitely Cruz Azul. So we have a lot to offer for the future, including this year's championship. Problem with America is that you have guys whose slogan, they themselves call themselves the team that should be hated more. Hate me more is what they say. So if you want to be part of that, well, that's your loss. And if you want Cuauhtémoc Blanco as president, you know, let's all get to go live somewhere else.
All right, Jose Manuel, you have the last word of this debate with America. Tell us.
Right. If we want to talk about Cantera, I mean, we have the best player in Europe, the Mexican player in Europe, Raúl Jiménez. There is no one better than him. Also, I mean, this is a sport. You want your team to win. So if you don't want your team to win, what else are you looking for? I mean, there's nothing like community and stuff. You only want to see your team winning. So when you have nothing to win, probably you can talk about what you do for the society. But no, we're here to win.
That is great, guys. This has been my favorite segment in the 4 months that we've had this show. You guys, awesome. I'm going to think about it. I will let you all know. But Fernando Gesto, Kenneth Smith, Jose Manuel Mercado, thanks, guys, so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. Finally, we have live sports back, and this week has been the tournament that every year captivates the entire country, and people are desperately looking for a safe place to watch the tournament that is not their sofa. For more on this, we go to baby maker extraordinario, Laila Garcia Mora, pregnant with twins. Laila, I know, is like, you're ready to go. Commercial director and Pinche Gringo show correspondent. Laila, first of all, what's your Mexico City team?
All of them, Dan. All of them.
Yeah. You don't even have a team in the what's it called league, right? In
But
the,
it was really interesting.
yeah. So Bayern Munich or Paris Saint-Germain?
All of them.
All of them. All right. Thank you, Laila. So tell us. So people are bored out of their damn minds of sitting on couches. They want to do something else. Can they feel safe of going to Pinche Gringo and watching the game this weekend?
Yes, and we're so happy that these games are back, and we can, now that we have our restaurants open, now we can receive our customers to watch these games. So we have different options. So whatever you want to do, we have it. If you want to go outside, you can go to our patio or our warehouse location, and we have, of course, we are taking care of the spaces. We're taking care of sanitization. That's important for you to know. And since we have limited spaces, we suggest that you go early, so you make sure that you have a space to watch the game.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
if you want to stay at home, if you can't go outside like a pregnant woman, you have options too. You can go to pgbbq.mx and order online. We have an amazing family package that has all of our meats and all of our sides. So with just one order, you can have a taste of all the menu of Pinche Gringo.
Right.
And we have another option.
It'll be amazing being pregnant in the quarantine because you have to quarantine anyway, and now everybody else around you does too, right? You don't feel bad about
Comfortable, yes. Like it was like the perfect timing to do this, especially with twins.
Now, Laila, I'm a vegan right now, but I'm eating this delicious jalapeno and cheddar sausage because of when Texas Monthly reviewed us, they were saying that all the meats were good, but the best one they liked was the jalapeno and cheddar. So tell me about this delicious, incredible salchicha.
First of all, if it has jalapeno, it has vegetables, so it's a salad. So you're fine. So this is an artisanal sausage. We have two kinds, but this is our favorite, the jalapeno cheddar sausage. So this is artisanal. It's made with our meat, handmade. Like we know what's in that sausage, and it's so good. So you can put it in a sandwich. You can eat it like you're doing, like just a botana. Or you can, for example, what I do is I save it on my fridge, and on weekends I scramble some eggs and put that sausage, and it's the best thing ever.
Scrambled eggs with jalapeno and cheddar sausage. Yes. You know, my dad always told me that it's very dangerous to talk sausages with a pregnant woman.
It's not nice to talk about any food with a pregnant woman.
Laila Garcia Mora, commercial director, Pinche Gringo barbecue correspondent. Laila, it's always a pleasure having you at the end of the show. I love having you on this.
Week.
All right. That is the show for this week. We will be off next week. Finally, we got a break, taking a much-needed rest, and too scared because the Republican National Convention featuring Donald Trump will be there next. But we will be back on September 3rd with you, and I hope you're sitting down. We will have special guests. Two-time UFC world champion Cain Velasquez will be on the show. This is a show you will not want to miss. So have a great week. Hector, put...
Pinche Gringo, Mexico is laughing thanks to you. We like to watch you dance salsa and listen to your bad Spanish too. We like to watch you almost die from spicy food.